You've probably heard of Thor and Loki. But what about the god so perfect, so beautiful, that all of Asgard adored him? This is the story of Baldr, the shining god of Norse mythology, and the devastating secret behind his death. Baldr was the son of Odin, the Allfather, and Frigg, the queen of the gods. He was the embodiment of everything good: light, purity, joy, and beauty. His hair was like spun gold, his skin as white as fresh snow, and his eyes shone brighter than the sun. He was so loved that wherever he walked, flowers bloomed, and sorrow faded away. He was, without a doubt, the jewel of Asgard. But one day, a dark shadow fell over this perfect world. Baldr began having terrifying nightmares, dreams that foretold his own death. Fearing for her beloved son, Frigg set out on an impossible quest. She traveled across the 9 worlds, from the highest mountains to the deepest oceans, and made every single thing swear an oath never to harm Baldr. Fire and water, iron and stone, plants, animals, and even diseases, all of them, promised to spare him. With this divine protection, Baldr became seemingly invincible. The gods in Asgard invented a new game to celebrate. They would hurl weapons and objects at Baldr, watching with delight as everything bounced off him without leaving a scratch. It was a joyous spectacle, a testament to his invulnerability and the love of his mother. Everyone joined in the fun. Well, almost everyone. Loki, the god of mischief, watched from the shadows, his heart burning with jealousy. He couldn't stand Baldr's perfection and the adoration he received. Disguised as an old woman, Loki approached Frigg and cunningly coaxed the secret out of her. Frigg, proud of her achievement, admitted there was one thing she hadn't secured an oath from: a tiny, insignificant plant called mistletoe. She had thought it was too young and harmless to pose any threat. This was the opening Loki needed. He found the mistletoe growing quietly on an oak tree, and from its delicate branch, he fashioned a small, deadly dart. He then went back to the gods' game, where everyone was still joyfully throwing things at Baldr. There, he found Harder Baldr's blind twin brother, standing aside, unable to participate. Loki approached him with feigned kindness. "Why don't you join in and honor your brother?" he asked. Hadr explained that he couldn't see to aim. "Don't worry," Loki whispered, pressing the mistletoe dart into Hodr's hand. "I will guide your arm." Trusting his friend, Hodr took the dart and, with Loki's guidance, threw it towards Baldr. The tiny branch flew through the air, true and straight. Unlike every other weapon, it didn't bounce off. The mistletoe pierced Baldr's heart, and he fell to the ground, dead. The laughter in Asgard died instantly, replaced by a horrified silence. The shining light of their world had been extinguished. Asgard was plunged into a grief so profound it shook the foundations of the cosmos. Odin's sorrow was the deepest of all, for he had lost his favorite son. But Frigg refused to give up hope. She sent another of her sons, Hermod the Brave, on a desperate mission. Riding Odin's 8-legged steed, Hermod journeyed for 9 nights through dark valleys to the gates of Helheim, the realm of the dead. There, he pleaded with its ruler, the goddess Hel, who was also Loki's daughter, to release Baldr. Perhaps feeling a sliver of pity, or maybe just to prove a point, offered a condition. Baldr could return to the living, she said, but only if every single thing in all the 9 worlds, living and dead, wept for him. The message was sent out, and a great weeping began. Gods, humans, giants, elves, and dwarves all shed tears for the fallen god. The trees wept sap, the stones wept dew, and the very earth cried with sorrow. It seemed that Baldr would be saved, but one creature refused. In a dark cave, the messengers found an old giantess named Thok. When asked to weep for Baldr, she sneered and replied, "Let Hel keep what she has." Thok, of course, was none other than Loki in disguise. With that single act of defiance, Loki sealed Baldr's fate. He would remain in Hel. But here's the greater secret, the one that Odin had known all along from his prophecies. Baldr's death wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a cosmic one. It was the first, undeniable sign that Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, and the end of the world, was coming. The death of goodness and light signaled the beginning of the final, devastating war. Yet, even in this bleak prophecy, there was a glimmer of hope. The legends say that after the world is destroyed by fire and flood and a new green world emerges, Baldr will return from the dead. He will be reconciled with his brother Hodor, and together, they will help rule over a new era of peace and renewal. The story of Baldr is more than just a myth. It's a powerful tale about the fragility of beauty, the poison of jealousy, and the inevitability of fate. It shows that even the most perfect things can be destroyed by a single, small act of malice. This timeless tragedy has echoed through centuries, influencing everything from classic literature to modern blockbusters like Marvel's Thor movies and the critically acclaimed video game God of War, where Baldr is a primary antagonist driven by a twisted version of his invulnerability. His story reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there is always the promise of a new dawn. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the ancient world. See you next time.